on. Well, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining for the Curtin team and our relocation workshop, and really just about sharing tips that might help you if you're considering relocating to our area here in the Atlanta, Roswell kind of greater area, which includes Alpharetta, Milton, Canton, Cumming, all of those good areas. And I'm going to have a little presentation. I'm going to share my screen, and then we're going to just have a discussion. And I have guests today. I have with me Alex and Kristen, who recently, how many months has it been now that you moved officially?
6. Yeah, coming up on 6.
Yeah, already 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months already.
Oh my gosh. So they relocated from Illinois, and so they're going to be our kind of experts on sharing some tips to make this process a lot smoother. So the goal for us at the Curtin team is really, it's a super stressful time to relocate. And so the goal is really to help smooth out that process as much as we can. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, have a very short little presentation, and then we'll have a discussion. Okay, so again, it's really about from stress to success. So as you can imagine, if you're considering relocating right now, you're already feeling the stress, and we want to make that as smooth as possible. One of the first things you want to do is find a real estate agent who specializes in relocation, or a team that specializes in relocation. Because what we found is that it's really about these 3 things: collaboration between you and the agent, or your family and the agent, so that we can really understand what's important to you, what your priorities are. There's so much that goes into a move, particularly when it's a family. And then the connection, making sure that you have the right connection, not just to the agent, but to other resources that you will need to make your relocation successful. And then community. So community is so important, and finding the right fit so that you can be connected within your community and be engaged, particularly if you have children, it's really important. So helping find the right community. Those are the 3 things that we have found. If we can really help in those areas, it's a much more successful relocation. So this is my family, and the reason that I'm passionate about relocation is because we did it, and it'll be 5 years mid-September that we relocated. My son in the picture with me at that time, when we relocated, he was starting in the 6th grade. And then my older son, who's in the picture with my husband, he was going into the 8th grade. So not the ideal time to move with kids, and they were really unhappy about the move. So that added kind of another layer of stress onto me, and some complexity around the move, and making sure that we got into the right neighborhood, the right community, the schools. All of those things were super important. And we partnered with the Curtin team when we relocated, and that's how I got connected with the Curtin team. And that's why I then joined the Curtin team, because I had such a positive experience with my family's relocation. But I am sensitive to the particular challenges that every family faces with relocation, whether it's kids or whether sometimes I'm working with parents. So parents want to be closer to their kids and closer to their grandkids, so they're relocating to the area. And that's, another set of challenges as well. So I'm passionate about helping all of the different scenarios so that it's a smooth transition. So it really is a partnership when you work with the Curtin team. And I just want to share this really quickly, and then we're going to get into talking with Alex and Kristen. So, Joanne Curtin is our broker. She has been in the business this is our 20th year, the Curtin team's 20th year in the business and in this area. So she is an expert in really being connected with resources, and just, pretty much anything you need, we have the connection for you, which is really helpful when you're relocating and don't know anyone and have to re-establish everything, which I'll talk to Kristen about soon, how would they find doctors and dentists and all those things. But on the curtain team, we have a buyer team. That's what I'm a part of. I'm a buyer's agent. But we also have an inside sales team that can help. So in this crazy market that we've just experienced, having someone on the phone 8 hours a day to reach out and make phone calls on behalf of our clients, whether it's a client looking to get into a neighborhood where there's nothing for sale, we get on the phone and we start calling, hey, we have buyers. Have you thought about selling? Or on the selling side, we get on the phone and say, hey, we have a listing coming in the neighborhood that you were interested in. So having an inside sales team is a huge, huge benefit for the curtain team, and the clients really benefit from that. And then our success team is the team that takes it from the agent who works with you to find the home. So when you're relocating, you work with me, and there's a whole host of online resources. Another topic for Kristen, because she was the queen of the online search for a home. So, but once you find the house and you negotiate the contract, then there's so many things that happen between signing the contract and actually closing the transaction. And that's where our success team picks up the ball and really manages every little detail. They coordinate between your lender for your loan and the closing attorney and anything else that is needed between signing that contract and getting to the closing table. That's our success team. On the sales side, we have a home transformation manager. So if you work with us to sell your home, we have an amazing designer home stager who will come in, and it's part of what's included with the curtain team. She will either give you a list of things that you can do to improve the value of your home. She'll give you a full condition assessment, and you can choose to do, whatever you want. It might be paint this or change the color of towels to white in this room. But she gets your home picture worthy for online viewing, because most of the shopping is done online. If your photos are not well representing what you're offering, and sometimes making it even look better than what you're offering, if your photos are not on point, that really does hurt you. So that's what Jamie does. And then we work with a couple of preferred lenders who are amazing at just helping, again, smooth out that transition from signing the contract to getting to the closing table. And then the closing attorney as well. We partner with several different closing attorneys. And so it's all a partnership together, and we kind of help coordinate that for you. So I think that might be my last, one more slide. So the other things that we're going to talk to, and this is where I'm really going to talk to Kristen and Alex, there are other factors to consider. Obviously, timing. So is it a job relocation? Is there a specific date that you are supposed to be in your new job in this new state? Or do you have factors, you have kids in school and you want to finish out the school year? There's a lot of things that come into play with timing. Do you have an existing home that you need to sell? So how are we going to balance the sale of that? You don't want to be homeless, or maybe you do want to be homeless and you have someplace else to stay. And you want to go ahead and get your home sold. So there's a lot of coordination around that. And we have a lot of different resources to help you so that you can make that smoother. You don't necessarily have to sell your home first before you can buy a home. We have a couple of partners that will help you so that you're not carrying two mortgages, but you're able to really seamlessly move and then put your home on the market once you've already found a new home. And then costs. So is it a company or a corporate relocation? Is somebody helping you with the expenses of the move? So there are so many different costs involved, some of which are very obvious, like moving costs, moving your physical stuff and your persons, if you're flying or if you're driving. But then there are other costs that you don't really think of, like Kristen and Alex just probably experienced the cost of Georgia's ad valorem tax when you have to register a vehicle. So there are things like that that you have to consider, and we will help you navigate that as well. And then my favorite is market dynamics. It is a crazy year to move, to buy, or to sell. It has been unprecedented and historical, broke all sorts of records. So the dynamics of the market, so not just the market you're moving to, but the market you're moving out of, definitely plays a role in your relocation. And so we help to really help you navigate through all of that. And that's it. So for those of you who are not live and are watching this recorded, please let us know. We're happy to send you our relocation brochure and we're happy to do a consultation with you if you just have questions. Again, no pressure at all, but we're happy to do that with you. So just reach out to us and we can email that to you and set up a consultation. So I'm going to stop my share so that I can have a conversation with you. Okay, so was it causing flashbacks as I was going through those slides? Like,
Yeah.
Little PTSD.
Yes, exactly.
Not really.
So
We won't
I-
scare people.
No, it wasn't bad in hindsight. Looking back at it, it was really a lot more seamless like I said, in hindsight than it felt like while we were going through it, because now we can look back at it without stress and worries and other factors that we had going on at the time. And, being able to look back on it and reflect, it really wasn't that bad of a process considering we moved our whole family and our whole house 800 miles across the country.
Yeah, so let me tell our audience. So introduce yourselves, and the first question I had for you was what was really kind of driving this move for you. So tell us who you are and your family and don't forget your dog, and then kind of why you decided to move when you did.
Sure. So I'm Alex. This is my wife, Kristen. And we have twins, Ryan and Hannah, and they're 8 years old this year, going to be 9 soon. We're lifelong Illinois residents, grew up in the area and very close to where we had met, and bought our first 2 homes in Illinois and began raising our young family there. So all our family and friends were centralized there. We had a lot of connections to the area. We still do. But, as an Illinois resident, you come to experience things like high taxes, brutal weather, and just kind of a state that's not run very well. So we had decided it's time to explore something better. We can probably get a lot more for our money elsewhere. So around fall of last year, we really started to get serious with it. And, a lot of factors had to line up for us. Again, that with the pandemic changed a lot of things for everyone. And for us, that essentially, they gave us carte blanche from our employers to work anywhere in the country, because we both have jobs that really don't require us to be in an office setting. So that was something that was, maybe unique to us, maybe not, but something that may not be everyone's situation. But so we benefited from that aspect of it. And, the fact that we now basically had the whole country at our disposal, we thought, well, it's time to actually do this. And we've been talking about it for a long time, but we really got serious in the fall of last year, and we started to put the ball in motion. And we went about it in the process of, we wanted to sell our house first and be unencumbered by a second mortgage or anything like that. In hindsight, it has benefits and also has problems, because then we were kind of limited of when we could actually make our move and stuff like that. And we found houses, we wanted to wait till we sold our house. So, but that's kind of how everything got started for us and how we ended up here in Canton, Georgia.
Yeah. So I remember, so a lot of people, when they are relocating, they're relocating for something specific. So it's either my mother is getting older, I need to be closer, or I want to be closer to my grandkids and they live in Roswell, or I'm moving for my job and my job is going to be in Alpharetta. So there's some kind of anchor to a specific area that helps drive the search. But for you guys, there was not an anchor, and which, again, I think it's a benefit and a curse, because you could go anywhere. So talk to me about how we went from kind of all, what was important in helping kind of get from here to narrowed down.
Yeah, I mean, basically our search started with like basically throwing a dart at the US. But some, we landed on Georgia for, we wanted a basement, we wanted great weather, so that limited us to the south. Arizona doesn't have basements, then it limited us to, the east. So school districts were a big thing. We did lots of research with the tools out there. I joined Facebook groups. I mean, social media sometimes is a blessing and a curse. But you go on there, you read reviews, take them with a grain of salt. But that's ultimately how we arrived at the Atlanta area, and then we wanted more family-oriented subdivisions, amenities. So, we put offers on a couple houses. They fell through for one reason or another. And we wound up in Bridge Mill, and we love it. We wound up with a pool and a gazebo, which wasn't on our wish list, but we've got it. Love it. Utilize it. Great to have. So yeah, we, just did lots of prep work in trying to figure out where we want to be, because Kanani, to your point, we had no anchor pulling us anywhere.
We could go anywhere.
Yeah, we cast a really wide net. We had Kanani probably driving all over.
Yes.
From where were we at?
Bowery
Branch to
Jefferson and
Jefferson,
Ocean.
Yeah, so we
Buford,
all over. Yeah, we made a couple trips out here with a few days notice, booking flights, car rentals. One weekend I think we drove 450 miles, just following Kanani from house to house. So it was exciting, scary, but it all worked out. I think, and like I said, any move is daunting. And then to Alex's point, picking up the family and moving 800 miles, you think I'm crazy, but in hindsight, it was a little different, but not really than the other 3 moves that we made.
Moving across town, it wasn't, there was maybe a couple more steps, or maybe a few more steps, moving across the country. And, like I said, looking back on it, I'm amazed at how seamless it really was.
Right.
Now that I can look back with 2020.
Well, this is another thing that I want to talk with you guys about, because the house that we ended up, that you're in, you didn't go into until after we were already under contract and all that. So so for people who are a little freaked out at the thought of the video showings or having to rely on the agent to really be the eyes and ears and nose of a home. So how did that process work for you, and what are some tips that you can give people?
Well, I mean, I remember when we first did our initial, like the very first virtual showing that you did for us, because me and Kristen weren't even together, because I was at the car dealership and she was at home, and I had to call in from my phone. And I remember thinking, oh, I don't know, because we bought the house previous when we were right down the street. We were literally shopping across town. We could just walk in and poke holes and this and that. So, I was a little unsure of how it was going to translate virtually, but I was really surprised at how well it went, because you were essentially just our eyes and ears while we were there. We asked you, hey, could you peek over there? Or
I think to that point, we literally said, Kanani, go now. It just popped up.
Because
we knew the market was like,
right.
You have to.
That's something that I noticed too. It wasn't. Some people might think that there's all this, pre-planning and technical issues that need to be worked out. No, we got it down to such a science. I mean, and all credit goes to you, Kanani, because I felt like we must be her only client at times, because you were so available to us. But like,
we knew that you had other people.
But,
it felt like
so. I never thought like, oh, geez, we need to plan out like 3 or 4 days advance. You were able to get in there sometimes within a couple hours notice. And you were literally just looking where we wanted you to look. If we had questions, you could literally, very tangibly give us feedback, and I
Right.
didn't really think we lost anything. And of course, obviously, when you step in the house physically,
Yeah.
you get the sense of the house, but we didn't really lose anything in translation having virtual showings with you.
Yeah, and I think it helped for me because we did have that whirlwind weekend of spending all that time together. So I got a better sense of what's important to you when you're looking in a house. So,
Right.
oh, Kristen needs, where's the pantry? So then when I'm going instead of you, I'm like, okay, here's the pantry. Like, I know the things that you would have looked at. So that was helpful. Not everyone has the benefit of being able to come down first. Some people do have to buy sight unseen, which seems really scary. And that is really where you need an agent who you trust and who you can tell, well, does it smell? Like, what are the neighbors, like, is the dog working next door? There's all of these things that you don't really, other than how many bedrooms and bathrooms and has it been updated, and there are all these kind of other things. And what does the street look like? And what are the neighbors? What are people doing? Are there a bunch of cars on the street? And so you have to kind of give people a sense of that. But buying sight unseen or through video showings is not going away. And now with the COVID spike, we're going back to a lot more video showings for people. The sellers are more comfortable with that as well. So I do think it's here to stay for a while. But Kristen, you mentioned, can you share with us what were some of your top resources for school research and the neighborhood stuff? You mentioned Facebook groups. Did you just search the name?
I just searched. Yeah, I once we knew kind of where we wanted to be, I would just like search the school. It was Great Schools.
Greatschools.org, I think, and Niche is another one that we really relied on a lot.
Yeah, there was a few others, but those are your top two that everyone's using. And I know we use some realtor sites. Like at the bottom, there'll be some links and resources for schools to look at there. So I just clicked there. Sometimes the ratings weren't great, which then prompted me to go to a Facebook page and read, like, I want to see what actual parents are saying. So I looked at that. I looked at websites for the schools to see how involved the schools are with the children, if the page was kind of boring or if the page was, Las Vegas life and there's a lot going on, that kind of helped me too. So it wound up being that the school we're in is great. There's a lot of activities, a lot of outside of school activities. They can do a lot of inside after school activities. I think for us coming in with, two 8-year-olds, you talked about that transition, Kanani, with your kids. I think with the pandemic, my children weren't in school for 1.5 years. They were virtual. So for them, I think this transition was easier just because they weren't in a physical classroom for that long. But I think being younger, they're also more resilient to change, they can on a dime, blend in and acclimate. So yeah, those are websites I used. I mean, similar for doctors and dentists, just researching what's around here. Something I noticed for Georgia specifically, and I think our subdivisions, we get tons of magazines and it's awesome. We get like a Georgia magazine, we get an Around Canton magazine, we get one for Bridge Mill Community, and there's ads in there, and it's awesome. So I like to see what activities are going on. So it comes to me and I don't have to go research it, because I'd rather personally flip through a magazine than go online and research, because I want it to come to me and I don't want to have to really search it out. So I think that's great to have in the community we're at, is all these pamphlets and books to look through to help, what activities do we want to do? Where do we want to go to the doctor, dentist? It's all there.
Right. That's great. And I know you had your favorite restaurants where you moved from. Have you been able to find some new, looks like
not yet. We did tell one of the waitresses that we were looking, and she said, I heard maybe it'll be here. So We might write a letter to the CEO of our favorite
Yeah,
restaurant
which-
chain and say, come on down here.
Yeah.
But we found an interim
Yeah,
in
we
the
are,
meantime.
we are definitely making do. It's harder for me with my autoimmune disease. My options are limited, but we are slowly but surely gathering our list of go-to restaurants.
Yes.
So
What was that one that you were telling me about? That was like your favorite family restaurant back?
Cooper's Hawk.
Cooper's
Yeah,
Hawk.
Cooper's Hawk.
Yeah.
That's one that we were literally gonna petition the CEO to open.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
We
there's
will-
some in Florida, which
Yeah.
are closer than Illinois, but still
Yeah.
not, within 15 minutes. So yeah, we're gonna write a letter, see if we can get them down here. And then we can
Yes.
share with
Have you-
everyone else in the Atlanta area, our favorite.
Yes. See, maybe that could be a business venture.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you tried Taco Mac?
I have not. I think my sister came down here and visited with us and the kids, and she took them out. And I think she may have gone there, but we haven't.
Yeah, so Taco Mac, it sounds like it's a taco restaurant, but it's not. It's really just a sports bar with tons of TVs, tons of beers on tap, and it's very family, and it's a favorite of many families, and there's locations all over. So that one if you come across one of those,
Add to the
give
list.
it
we'll
a
have to-
try.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we get a lot of referrals from, we got the bug guy who gave us referrals.
Yeah, we've got
Yeah.
Yeah, another neighbor talking
Yeah.
about this and that. So
Yeah.
we're
Yeah,
accumulating
we've
a
gotta,
list.
we've gotta get through our bucket list.
Our
for here,
backlog, yeah, backlog of restaurants.
yes, that's good. What has been the hardest thing to replace or to transition from the things that you were used to or the services that you had? What's been hardest?
Well, for us, I mean, it's a lot of it is it's very similar to what we were used to, but I mean, I think the biggest thing for us personally to replace is the support system we had,
Yeah,
family and
family.
friends. Because we came down to Georgia and we didn't know anybody. We had no connections down here. So it was kind of, that's a little scary at first. We're certainly building a network of neighbors and friends that we're making as we go, and our family's not that far away, but that was daunting for us, is
Yeah.
to just not have my mom or her parents ready to watch the kids, or if something happened and we can make a phone call and someone's here right away. But as far as transferring over things, Xfinity and all the utilities and stuff, that was very easy to do. I really can't say it was.
No, I think the only thing we learned is coming down from Illinois, you have to have a termite bond, which we didn't know
That's
about
something
that.
that's
Yeah, so that's how we met the bug guy.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah, they're just the different flora and fauna around here that you have to get
Yes.
used to and fight off with the bug
Yes.
bug
We
sprays
do
and all
have a
that
lot of
stuff.
critters. Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Different.
humidity,
Yes.
Yep, the humidity is definitely pretty big. I mean, it
Yeah.
could get humid in Illinois, but it's
mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes.
Yeah,
So little things like that, you definitely notice after 6 months, like, but all
but
in
you don't
all,
have to
overall-
shovel the snow.
Oh,
Snow,
yeah, yeah,
no.
there's that. I almost brought my snowblower down just for like
Novelty.
novelty purposes. Just
That's so
what
funny.
the heck is that thing?
Oh my gosh, your son and daughter could make a killing. So when there is, and there will be, a dusting of
Mhm.
snow that comes next winter, and your kids can go around the neighborhood with the snow blower and be like, hey, whoops.
No, we still have the
I
shovel.
brought the
We still
shovel.
have it is hanging.
Oh,
in
and
the
they can
garage.
shovel.
Yes.
That's-
There you
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my boys did. They saw me out shoveling the neighbors and nobody even had a shovel. They're
Yeah.
like, hey, can we borrow your shovel? It's like, you guys don't even have a shovel.
Yeah,
Yep,
we'll
we
make a
brought
lot of
it.
money.
Yes. So now what about, how are you guys making connections? So, the kids, it's a little easier. They have activities, they have school, but what about you guys is it just mostly neighbors? How are you guys making some
Yeah, I
friends
think
and
mostly neighbors right now, and it's more the kids. I like bring them to you because I'm waiting at the bus stop, and then
Yeah.
you start to have a
Other moms
conversation,
and
and then you
dads.
exchange a telephone number and then texts, and then you're talking to the parents because your kids are playing. So I think
good?
kind of where we are right now in and with the kids and our age, the kids are bringing us our friends.
Right.
Well, that is
Which
how
is
it, I
fine.
mean,
There's
yeah.
also a good resource. It's an app. It's called Nextdoor.
Oh yeah, next
Yes.
door.
So we
use.
joined that, and you know, Bridge Mill, our subdivision where we're at is there's a lot of homes here and there's a lot of people, and there's a pretty active community on Nextdoor. So there's always posts, you know, people make introductions, and it's amazing. I made an introductory post that said I'm, you know, I'm from Illinois, and I must have got 80 or 90 responses that, oh, I'm from Wisconsin, I'm from Montana. So a lot of people have moved in this area recently too. So, but that's another good resource for just meeting who's around you. And I found, you know, our neighbors that we met across the street, they popped in and said hello on the app too. So there's a lot of resources to just meet friends and neighbors around you.
Well, that's good. And then have you been able to have a date night or get out with, because I know you lost your babysitting.
Yes.
So
Well, when my sister and family came in, we went, but I know that in Cherokee County, and I don't know about other counties, they have every other Friday where you can spend 15 or 20 bucks per kid or whatever. You take them to the recreation building and they can do swimming and pizza and a movie and pajamas. And it's like 5 hours for
That's
like
awesome.
15 bucks
and it's-
pre-register.
And it's literally for parents. to
Yeah,
get a break
it's called, I think it's called parent date night or something like that.
Ah.
So like that, again, I saw that because I was flipping through a magazine. I wouldn't have even thought to like that exists. You know, I would have been like, oh, I gotta find a babysitter in the
Right.
subdivision. So yeah, that's out there. So we haven't had time yet, just because work's busy for me in the summer and Alex.
I'm
So
traveling a lot.
but yeah, we're gonna definitely utilize that because it'll give us time away from the kids and it's gonna be
Yeah.
fun for them too, swimming and pizza and
Time away from
movies.
us.
Yeah,
yeah.
time
I
away
know. Yeah, get to stay up late and
Yeah.
Well, that is great. And how many visitors? I know when we were looking, you were thinking a lot of people, especially now with the swimming pool, you were going to be having a lot of house guests. Have you
Yes.
had a lot of visitors?
We have.
Yeah, we had a
so-
revolving door for a
Yeah,
while.
so first, Kristen's lifelong friend and her husband and their daughter drove all the way down from Illinois, spent a week with us. And then
Wow.
soon after that, my sister-in-law flew down, she spent a week with us. Right after that, my mom and my brother flew down, spent a weekend with us. And my friend from work and her son flew down from work. And in about a week and a half's time, I'm gonna pick up my in-laws for 2 weeks. So, and I mean, my brother has already made like 5 more plans to come down because, you know, we've got the pool, we've got the weather, so everyone
Yeah.
comes and you don't want to leave, which is the nice part. So
Yeah.
I think, you know, it doesn't feel, we don't feel as far away as
That's
you know,
great.
we are, because it's only an hour and some change flight back and forth.
Right.
And when people get a taste of how easy it is to fly down here, they're already making repeat trips to come down.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good for people to, because I know that a lot of people are in your situation, they're moving away from family.
Mhm.
And that's what we did. We moved away from my husband's whole family and we were a little nervous, but my in-laws I mean, they must have made 3 or 4 trips a year to visit because they loved being down here. They just loved
Right.
all the restaurants, the area, the weather. And you guys have had all those visitors and it hasn't even been the winter yet.
Right,
Right,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
just
we had like
it.
the first 3 months that we were here, we had the
Yeah.
revolving door, yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
around Christmas time, when it's -10 in Chicago, I have a feeling that they're gonna be
Yes.
carving the turkey right down here in Canton, Georgia. So I
Yeah.
think that will be remaining to be seen.
Well, well, first of all, I loved working with you guys. You guys were just awesome, a family.
Likewise.
to work
Yeah,
with. And I appreciate you sharing with us because I think a lot, just hearing your story and just hearing you had all of these kind of, you know, it was a daunting move, but it was fairly smooth and you're happy and, you know, you made these decisions and choices kind of without having a whole lot of information,
Mhm.
but it's all, you know, worked out for your family so far. So thank you. Is there anything that you wish that you knew that you didn't know, but you know now that you wish you knew when you got started on this process?
I think for me, 'cause this was kind of where my part in the whole thing was around the logistics of moving. If you own if you're like us and you have a family or you just lived in the house for 7 years like we did prior, you have no idea how much junk you accumulate and what it's going to cost to move all that down. And, you know, I'm glad that before we really kicked the ball in motion, we stopped and did a lot of, we called full service movers. We looked at U-Haul, we looked at this and that. And essentially take whatever you think you're going to need and add 40% more to that, because, you know, we ended up filling a full 26-foot semi trailer, and then I still had to go drive a 26-foot U-Haul down myself, packed with my brother. So do a lot of that stuff first. Don't leave that till the last minute. Get all of those ducks in a row. Book your truck, book your movers. We use a service called a U-Pack, which was very nice, but get all that stuff arranged and figured out well in advance, because you never know, things change at the last minute and these places get booked up, especially in this markets. That's what I could add to that in terms of logistics. Do your homework first.
That's helpful. What about you, Kristen? Anything you wish that you knew before?
No, I think to Alex's point there, just, do your research. And then because we did the U-Pack, when we moved out of our house in Illinois, we had all these friends there, you know, because our network was there. So we had all these free movers and free help. And then when we came here, I wasn't here yet. Alex came down the first week, so it was just him. So if you're moving down here and you don't have, you know, that same network of people, you got 3 guys who went online, and that was a referral from you, Kanani. So thank you again. I forget, Atlanta Movers referred, and
needed the manpower.
And they were here for how long? And
they unloaded the 26-foot trailer in about 3 hours. And I mean, again, but that goes to make sure you've got both ends
don't
of your
forget
trip
that
planned.
piece. If you're moving down here with no one, you're gonna need help.
Look into the local resources for the journey's end, because you're, you know, like us, we have no one we could call to help. You need to be able to utilize local resources for that. And again, that was a Kanani referral, so thank you again. And you know, that's the benefit of having a realtor that you trust and who knows the area and has connections where you're looking to go. So that was very invaluable to us.
Well, thank you. And I wish you guys continued happiness and in your new home in Canton. And I can't believe it's 6 months. That went by so quickly. And enjoy your very first as we head into fall and then winter. And yay, you're going to really be glad that you live. The news and you see the blizzards and the 12 more inches of snow.
I'm looking forward to watching that from afar this year.
Exactly. And of course, we're always here for you guys. So thank you so much for being with me today. And it was great to see you both.
Yes.
Same to you.
All
Good
right.
to see you, Kanani, and I'm sure we'll be in touch at some point again.
We hope to not move again, but we'll definitely utilize you for, like, we're trying to get the family down here now. That's the next step.
Sometimes you can help get some more people down for us.
You can help in that regard.
We'll be happy to. All right. Take care, you guys.
All right.
Bye, Kanani.
Bye. Thank you.